sex is the language of this show. So the sex scenes were written very differently. So we're watching a story being told for sex. That sex is actually the most intimate thing they do and the most honest way that they communicate with each other.
What makes for a good sex scene? In this video, I will be talking about what an intimate scene needs to enhance a narrative, and I will show you how the writers of Heated Rivalry did exactly this in the first 2 episodes of the show, which made them not only able to create 90 minutes of great smut, but also a gripping story. And thus, for me, some of the best erotic writing I have seen in a long time. So grab your ginger ale and put in your suspensors and let's dive in. So to understand what makes for a good sex scene, it is imperative to understand what makes for a good scene, period. In his Creative Writing 101, writer Kurt Vonnegut suggests that every sentence should do at least one of 2 things: reveal character or advance the action. But I would go even further and say, although it is hard enough to accomplish one thing at a time competently, the best sentences, the best scenes do both. It is the difference between a single note and a chord. The more registers you employ simultaneously, the fuller the sound, and the fuller the sound, the more stimulated and captivated is the audience. And I think this is what makes Heated Rivalry in its first 2 episodes nearly perfect, because its intimate scenes across the board hit multiple notes at the same time. So there is one thing that makes writing and talking about writing so difficult. A good story is an orchestral piece. A million things happen at the same moment. In this video, I want to focus on 2 registers, 2 elements: plot and story. And if it has been a while, this is plot. The plans to destroy an evil empire's most powerful weapon falls into the hands of a nobody who joins the rebellion and helps to blow up said weapon with the support of his friends and magical powers he unlocks. A young orphan who longs to leave his dire circumstances is swept into a conflict with a dark evil figure that forces him to come to terms with who he is and who he wants to be. This is story. Let us first look at how Heated Rivalry in its intimate scenes reveals plot. In a romance, plot typically revolves around the question, will they, won't they? And to keep it interesting, you want the audience to constantly guess. So you will generally have scenes in which it seems like they will, but also some in which it looks as though they won't. But this cannot happen at a whim or chaotically. What we have learned from story structure is that you want to build up tension to grab the audience and raise the stakes gradually, escalate bit by bit. That is why it is better to have several scenes in which closeness intensifies and then several in which bit by bit problems grow. Not one, then the other, then one, then the other. Also, to give a scene weight, it must create a fundamental change in the story and the characters. Something happens that cannot be taken back. A good story feels like a ball that keeps on rolling, that cannot be stopped. So you would want some type of reversal, a change in power, a change in status. That is what keeps the audience interested and what happens next. Let me show you how Heated Rivalry sex scenes in episode 1 and 2 accomplish all of this to a T. So in the first 2 installments, we have 6-ish intimate encounters. 4 of them contain sex. And if you just look at the progression from they would never to they will, from distance to closeness, you can see the pattern I mentioned. We go from increasing closeness in episode 1 to a small hiccup at the end, a high point of closeness at the beginning of episode 2 to a phase of growing distance in its middle and the last third. So yes, longer sequences that go into the same direction, but also reversals, change. Now, let's find out how escalation and reversals are accomplished in each scene. So this show does not lose any time. 13 minutes in, we get our first intimate encounter. A masterclass in escalation, but also mini reversals.
Fuck off.
Ilya begins to jerk off teasingly. Shane watches, but then
Not here.
a mini dip. But this ball rolls already. Ilya invites himself to Shane's hotel room. Shane opens the door. They make out. They give each other BJs. Ilya swallows.
You didn't have to. I don't mind.
But not so fast. When Ilya talks about his previous physical encounters with men, he mentions his coach's son, with whom he had nothing serious. The guy only made Ilya curious, and Shane makes Ilya curious as well, thus firmly putting Shane into the not serious category as for now. And there's still a lot of
Fuck you, Rosanov.
and Ilya leaves immediately. They say goodnight and off he goes. Next. No talking, they head straight to the bed, but Ilya brings up the idea of a potentially more intimate activity than the BJs they gave each other up to this point, if you catch my drift. However, mini dip. Shane freaks out. Oh no, has Ilya gone too far? Has he killed the mood so much so that they will not be making out this time at all? No, they do. And Ilya even proposes to meet in 2 weeks and exchange numbers, which means escalation. But not too much. Ilya still insists.
It's just a plan to fuck.
The plans fall through though. But this went way too smoothly. Time for a change in direction. Some months later, Ilya has lost the Rookie of the Year award to Shane and is sulking at the rooftop, which makes Shane mad.
All you do is beat me. I win one stupid fucking thing. You couldn't even show your face down there.
He tries to bring up making out either way, but Ilya is a fortress. When Shane, getting nothing, wants to leave, he reverts back to the handshake they had in their first encounter. But Ilya does make a move eventually, but only to taunt Shane.
What the fuck are you doing? We're both in tuxedos out in public.
They just do not come together and part ways, not even having a proper goodbye this time.
See you next season. Hollander.
Episode 2. Line goes up again. After months of Shane rejecting Ilya's advances, they do meet. Ooh, at Shane's place. The rivalry is alive and well.
Come here.
No, you come here.
No, you come here.
No, you come here.
But we get an escalation of closeness. They do try the more intimate activity they talked about. Wink, wink. We have a new nickname.
Oh, shit, Rosanov.
Cuddles and kisses after sex, and they also part with a sweet little smooch. But don't get used to that. In Sochi, Ilya loses and the pressure from his dad makes him nasty. He rejects Shane's attempts to bond completely.
We are not anything. Go away, Hollander.
Just look at how great this shot telegraphs their growing distance. There will be a similar one in a minute. When we see Shane witness Ilya's winning later on, he does look happy for his man, but you can see the longing and frustration about their situation at the moment seeping in. Well done. Come the most interesting scene to date. It is so interesting and layered, indeed, that it kind of breaks the closometer, and that what a marker of closeness could be could also be the opposite. But more on that later on. Let's just look at it in terms of plot. At another award show, they meet again, and it becomes clear that Ilya has been ghosting Shane in the past 6 months.
Well,
What? What the fuck do you want, Rosanov? You haven't answered a text from me in like 6 months. You won't even acknowledge I exist unless there's a fucking camera pointed at us, and then it's for some fucking clown show.
I want you to
Oh, fuck you. You are unbelievable. You my
When Shane confronts him, Ilya falls back into a pattern of behavior we saw at the end of episode 1. the first sign for why their relationship might not be smooth sailing.
Maybe as nicely.
Ignoring the rivalry and homophobia stuff, this is a call from inside the house.
Please.
First, he asks Shane to beg for them getting intimate on the spot, only to...
What?
And then when they finally are at Ilya's hotel room, he does introduce a new way of being intimate, one that is built on trust.
Now get on the bed. Touch yourself. What?
And they do make out in the end, but still there is nothing left of this and this. Just look at this shot and listen to the music.
I need. What? You know, tell me. You?
Something has shifted. And when the deed is done, Ilya lets all of Shane's attempts to connect die in awkward silence.
So Russia this year was something else. It's intense there.
No cuddling, no eye contact when Shane says goodbye.
Goodbye, Hollander.
And at the way down, it hits Shane. It's so great. Escalation after escalation, and even if they grow more distant, it becomes more complicated, which raises the stakes. I love it. Now let's look at the story side of things. As I've indicated early in the definition of story, one feature that is essential for it to work is conflict. It is through the constant attacks of the antagonists that the protagonist grows and reaches their full potential, but also shows who they truly are.
Now, fulfill your destiny.
And what they're capable of.
Never.
And one of the reasons I think Heated Rivalry is able to create and hold so much tension in its first 2 episodes comes down to the fact that the conflict is set up pretty well. It's not awfully much, but there is enough to keep the ball rolling in these 90 minutes. First, the antagonism between the 2 main leads. As I mentioned in my video on how to create romantic tension, it is helpful to have 2 lovers that are bound to clash character-wise. And Ilya and Shane accomplish this perfectly. With Ilya being cocky, brash, and snarky.
Okay.
And Shane being shy, easily flustered, conscientious, and desperate to please everyone. Which creates a nice push and pull in every scene they're in between them.
Mr. Businessman. Mr. Landlord.
You asked.
No, I didn't. Oh my God, Hollander, you were so boring.
But there's also an antagonism beyond the couple that helps to put pressure on the 2 of them and forces them to reveal themselves to us. And on top, in several instances, the non-romantic antagonism will also complicate the romance, which is exactly what you want. For Ilya, this is his overly critical father and a brother who's pressuring him for money.
Ты проиграл
Латвии.
Латвии. И он еще пьет. Как ты допустил до этого? Тебе не стыдно?
Мне стыдно, отец.
Но не настолько.
Ты можешь мне еще денежку кинуть?
Пожалуйста.
У меня больше нет денег, Алексей. Мой бонус закончился, братан. Ты почти весь его вынюхал.
Ой, ути-чути. Унылый ты педик, Илюшка.
And for Shane, it is his status as the first biracial player of his caliber.
Et que penses-tu en comparaison à Tiger Woods et Serena Williams? Penses-tu partager les mêmes défis qu'eux, si on se comprend?
He has to be perfect for the audience, his sponsors, and his parents.
A whole lot of kids are going to be looking up to you. Kids that don't see themselves here a lot.
Let's take a look now at how Heated Rivalry uses its intimate scenes to reveal its characters. So there are a lot more scenes that paint a picture of the relationship, just as Vonnegut wanted it. But we're here to focus on the smut. So their first hookup. It is laden with moments that show their personality and character.
I like trouble.
Like brazen and self-assured Ilya is calling all the shots.
Okay.
Come here.
Makes all the moves, and anxious Shane mainly reacts.
This is such a bad idea.
Being such a newbie, he does not even know what clothes to wear for a booty call.
Was it bad?
Perfect and neat.
Not bad for first time.
In a good intimate scene, you should be able to gauge the differences in personality of the lovers without dialogue, by the way they move, the decisions they make. And in this one, you can. It's pretty good. Not an intimate scene, but can I gush about the fact that when Shane is too late for a meeting with his parents because he was caught up watching interviews with Ilya, he says that he lost track of time watching YouTube videos about unlikely animals becoming friends.
Like a tiger and a bear, a cow and a duck. Come on. Yeah, a snake and a baby.
Which does not only reveal how he sees his and Ilya's relationship, two individuals, two different species bound by chance, a love that defies the laws of nature, but also brings up an important dramatic question. Could this illicit affair end up keeping Shane from being perfect for everyone? Will it destroy the facade? Great writing, y'all. Admittedly, the next scene is more of what we already know. Shane is scared.
I'm standing in the hallway like an idiot. Scott Hunter is right next door.
Ilya tells him what to do.
Give him the knees.
But when the suggestion arises to relocate their hookups from anonymous hotel rooms to each other's homes, we glimpse something new.
Okay. So next time.
For Ilya, this means nothing.
Next time.
Shane, however, pauses.
Where would we want? Me? You are homeless.
Might this become too intimate for him? Yet, people pleaser and kind of already head over heels Shane does not protest.
You have phone. Give.
In their next encounter, we get our answer. It is Shane who presses for more emotional connection.
I win one stupid fucking thing. You couldn't even show your face down there.
He wants them to be friends, be supportive beyond the bed. And when he's not able to get this, he leaves. There is a moment of temptation, but at this point, if the relationship interferes with his public image and goals, he chooses the latter.
What the fuck are you doing?
See you next season.
Plus, we get a sneak peek of Ilya's problems that will come into focus in the next episode. A foreshadowing that there might be a darkness lurking under his sympathetic asshole persona.
Not everything is about you, Hollander.
But first, a small respite from the conflict.
Come here.
No, you come here.
No, you come here.
A glimpse into how it could be if they would not carry that much baggage. Although the hints are there of what is about to happen.
I should go.
Ilya's non-romantic antagonism coming into full swing, forcing him to face who he is and who he wants to be, and thus Shane as well. So we have from the beginning been presented with a strange disconnect between Ilya's behavior when he is with others and Shane, and who he is with his family.
Всегда ищешь кого-то виноватым с самого детства.
$20,000?
Да, 20 тысяч баксов.
Для чего на этот раз?
Чтоб трахнуть тебя.
Это, блядь, в последний раз.
Я все всегда какие-то тупые отговорки, Илья.
He is afraid. He is passive. He does not dare to speak up. In the last leg of the second episode, this flaw, this conflict, will finally bleed into his relationship with Shane, making it more complicated until it almost bursts at the seams. There were hints that toying with Shane and his feelings was an outlet for Ilya when he was moody and frustrated with himself.
Not everything is about you, Hollander.
12 seconds later.
But now, after having lost at the Olympics in his home country and being put down by his family again,
Latvia.
he doubles down until it escalates. In Sochi, he rejects a Shane that only wants to support him emotionally, point blank.
We are not anything.
And then when they meet again, his playbook becomes apparent. In the way he demeans Shane,
Maybe as nicely.
keeps him at an arm's length, pulls him closer only to push him away.
I need to sleep.
the more he can control Shane, the more he can bring him to do things Shane does not necessarily want himself, the more the shame about his own passivity, his own submission towards his family will go away. But it doesn't. There is nothing left of this. It is about dominion now, about orchestrating intimacy, forcing and withholding intimacy to cope. And the question arises, will he be able to overcome this flaw? Open up to Shane to have their love ripen and bloom, or will he stick to it? Stay who he is and keep bowing to his family and ruin everything they were and could have been. And as to Shane, he was partaking in all of this, happily at times. It was only when it was over that it hits him. That when before he got nothing, he stood up for himself and left. But now he didn't. That when before it was about hooking up and fun, it is about dominance now. Power and pain. And he has to ask himself, what is he willing to give up of himself for these kernels of love he gets from Ilya? How much is he ready to beg, to demean himself for a man who is emotionally stunted and uses him to self-regulate? Is there truly a connection between them, or is it the secret that binds them together? Can this be a true relationship, love even, or is it shame that keeps Shane with him? Shame and the need to have at least some other person that knows who you really are, even if it hurts you more than it gives you. Yeah, great stuff. And presented so slick, elegantly, well-paced and on point. It's magnificent. As to the rest of the show, that is a topic for another video. So if you're interested in that, let me know. If this video gets more than 20 comments, I will gladly look at the intimate scenes of episode 4 to 6. Oh, the lack thereof. And guys, after one sleepless night, I already have a rewrite in place that would make these characters shine even more than you think they did. Take care.